Okay, so the new Bruno Mars album, The Romantic, has just been dropped and it's been 10 years since the last album, so you know with this guy it's going to be quality over quantity. Only 9 tracks, which is quite similar to what he's done. I'm pretty sure Doo Wops is his most, I think it has like 12 tracks, which is his, you know, lengthiest album, so that says a lot. Yeah, 12 tracks. And this is the same as, 24 Karat, which also had 9. I actually quite like this album. I love the sound of this album. Like, it had that sort of blend of like soul and funk, and you know, some really upbeat dance tracks, and like the talk box was a great use of it. And judging off that last single, it seems like he's gone a bit more, I mean, he still has sort of stuck to that sound, but obviously we've only judged it off that one single, and it wasn't as like synth heavy, I guess. Like, it wasn't as disco like. It was more sort of, I don't know, like a bit groovy. It's really weird, but they are similar. And you know, I saw a load of comments saying like, oh, he hasn't changed his sound at all in the last 10 years, but it is different. Like, it's not like that single is different to something off of 24 Karat, and I enjoyed it. I like the single, so it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what other songs there are. And I just have a feeling like, obviously they had that Silk Sonic album, which was definitely more jazz and soul, so I have a feeling it's going to be a blend of those two, like sort of Silk Sonic and 24 Karat. So we're going to have like that disco sort of sound, but not as in your face, not as upbeat, not as, you know, synth heavy, just a blend of it, I think. But who knows, that's all I'm getting at. One more thing as well is like the album cover, which I mean, I don't mind it. It's just like an outline of his face. It's very sort of minimalistic. The text is also very like minimal and thin. It would have been nice to see a bit of colour. Like, it's weird having a Bruno Mars album all in grey, like with the backdrop being grey, but I'm sure the sound of it and the music won't actually sort of represent the colour of it. But let's go. Okay. Quite Spanish guitar vibes.
For just a chance to win your heart, you could set the bar beyond the stars. I'll do anything.
Okay. Wasn't expecting a slow opener. It's very sort of, you know, sight, you know, on the street in Spain or something, or Mexico.
It's crazy, but it's true. There's nothing I won't do. I'd risk it all for you.
Great voice, of course.
To hold your hand and call you mine.
Very much is like that. Got like the drums, the bongos maybe. I say this is more like a doo-wop sort of track. It's nice and smooth. Wow. Bit of an instrumental break. Yeah, wasn't expecting that sort of sound for the opener. Definitely, you know, slower. But I mean, you know, it's almost 3 minutes in and it's quite, you know, it's been nice, like, as it is just flown by, even though it's a very sort of subtle, chill track. Love like the trumpets in the back, sort of coming in every now and then. Sounds like a movie track, something that could be used. Sort of like a Coco sort of vibes, if you know the film. That's what I was getting at. And like I said, it really sort of, yeah, resembled that vibe. Like, on, you know, like I said, on a street in Mexico or whatnot, you know, busking. And yeah, it was beautiful. But yeah, wasn't expecting an opener like that. So Cha Cha Cha, which, I mean, judging off the title, sounds a bit more sort of upbeat, but who knows. Okay, it's very, you know, I know there's only one track in, and we've only had a bit of this, but very acoustic so far. I guess that is, like I said, it could be a blend of Silk Sonic and 24 Karat, maybe leaning a bit more into Silk Sonic a bit. Which, I mean, it was a great sound in that album. Very soulful, you know? Both have been very sort of smooth. I'm sort of getting like a slower version of like Skate, if you know the song. Very much like that, especially with the chorus or the hook. Ooh. It's great instrumental though. Hooligans. It's very sort of subtle, especially at the moment. Like when he says "come on," it sounds like he's gonna say "come on, skate," because that's what he says in the other one. It's like I anticipate him saying it each time. Yeah, very nice though. Like I said, he's definitely nailed that like groovy sort of sound, or that vibe. Ooh. Okay. A bit more to it. A bit faster now. I feel like both songs sort of had that bit where it's like a bit of a break. Yeah, I mean, great production. It's weird though, I just feel like these two songs, I sort of linked them to like the end of the track list. It's definitely got that like late evening sort of vibe to it, which is maybe why I think that. Okay. Ooh. Wow, this is interesting so far. Definitely, like I said, I mean, it's only 2 tracks, and obviously I Just Might is probably, I've heard it already, so I'll skip over that, but that's definitely the most upbeat one out of the 3, so maybe it's just sort of getting into it, but so far it's been very like acoustic. Like, I guess sort of slow in some parts, but more like it's slow but it's also groovy. Like you could easily like move and dance to this track even though it's like a chill, slow one. But yeah, so next up is I Just Might, which I have heard and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Maybe like the hook can get a bit sort of repetitive, but let's go on to God Was Showing Off.
Uno, dos, tres,
Definitely leaning into that like Spanish sort of sound because of the instruments and the whole vibe of it all. Or like, I guess like Hawaiian. I mean, he was born in Hawaii. I love like the 2 different sounds like that, the background vocals. 2 different like sounds to his voice. See, like he just layered them on top of himself. Yeah, I do like how he's done that actually. I mean, so far it has just been like very smooth, you know, very groovy.
God don't have favorites. Come on, help me sing.
Okay. Little break again. That was nice. I feel like I definitely like the second half more. I don't know, it just built up quite well. But that's what I mean, like so far, 4 tracks in, you can't really like hate on it, to be honest, because they're just nice tracks to move to. I mean, it depends if it's just going to carry on like this, which wouldn't be bad at all, but of course it's like it is Bruno, so they're going to play him, you know, commercially on the radio and stuff all the time, but there's not like so far, and if he is going to carry that sound out, is there going to be any like real like hit maker tracks on here? And like, that's probably what he's not going for. But it's going to be interesting to see if there is any that really like stand out and like are way more like upbeat and stuff. Or maybe he is just using these exact like instruments with every song, you know, very similar. Which, you know, wouldn't be bad at all. Like I said, it's a nice sound. And it is like sort of a carry on from Silk Sonic and that sort of sound. But a bit more like pop sounding, or like a dance pop. And like I said, we haven't really heard that entirely, so it wouldn't be bad to have a full album of that. But it would be cool to have some real like hitters that just sort of stand out. But here we go, Why You Wanna Fight. That's beautiful. Can't lie, again, I was sort of expecting like a crazy drop or something. Of course, I'm not saying like that should be there, but that's what it felt like with that whole build up. But this is like even slower than what we've heard. Very like dreamlike. It sounds beautiful though. And I said, I keep on saying like his voice is great, and he can pull that off very well. Ooh. So I mean, it like builds up and then just sort of slows again and resets. See what I mean? Like again with like the breathy sort of background vocals, little ad libs, but like with his own voice. This is a great one. It might even be my favourite so far. That's what I'm saying, you can't really like criticise this at all. Not like I would, but it's going to be interesting to see, you know, where, well, 4 more tracks left, but it's going to be cool to see what people think. Because it sounds amazing, like it sounds gorgeous, but just picturing this like on the radio or something, not like I care about that, but there's definitely not any that are standing out to me so far that they would sort of, you know, blow up. Ooh. Wow. Really went in with that bit. Again, there's like harmonies in the back. There we go, and then it like slows out, levels out again. I just realised this is like the longest track on the album, but it's flown by. And arguably like the slowest sort of track, as in sounding slow. Wow. Oh, that little fade out as well. Yeah, I think that might be my favourite so far. Which is why I was saying, like, yeah, it would be cool to have like real upbeat, like standout tracks. But like I said, it's not like I don't like that, because this is probably my favourite, that last one, and it's the slowest one, probably the least upbeat one. It was very soulful, definitely, And speaking of soulful, On My Soul is next. Okay, straight in after that. Straight into it.
Baby, we should be together. Love so hard to find. Break your heart, I would
Okay.
never.
Much more groovy.
Girl, I'd rather die. Say, baby, I really want you. Say, baby, I wanna give you my name. Say, baby,
I love that bit.
ever be yours. Every hour, every night, every day. On my soul. Like you've never been in love before.
Wow.
On my soul.
Got like the shakers in the back.
I'ma love you like you've never been in love before. Put it on it.
Way more fast paced than this one.
Everything on my soul. Baby, I wanna give you my name.
Whoa.
Baby, I'll forever be yours. Every hour, every night, every day. On my soul. Yeah, I'ma love you.
Yeah, that's a great instrumental.
On my soul. On my soul.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm trying to live the dream.
Again, another break towards the end of the song. Wow. That is great. Then.
I'ma love you like you've never been in love before. Put it on my soul.
Great outro though.
I'ma love you like you've never been in love.
If anything, I wanted that one to be longer.
On my soul.
Wow. I don't know, I love them both for different reasons, to be honest. I feel like maybe that, I know, I feel like that one is definitely the most upbeat one. Which is funny coming off that last track. So yeah, let's carry on, Something Serious. Definitely has gone in with this this sort of genre sound. Very acoustic. This one's way more drum-like.
Got to understand. You should be my boo thing, my boo thing.
What's that like squeaking sound?
So pretty babies, pretty babies. I could give you that. Us together. Us together.
I feel like all of these. Wow. I was gonna say like all of these feel like you're in the studio and they're just all going ham on the drums and stuff. And then he's just, yeah, they're singing. Like it feels like it's just all been made in one sitting, but not in a bad way, but just as in like it's just been fun, you know, it's not been overly processed or whatever. Like it feels like you're there. Really like nailed that sound.
Something serious.
Ooh. That's great. So like the chorus, just before the chorus, it does have that little break again, little instrumental. And it's done that each time. Now, you know, just playing out, letting it breathe. Wow. I mean, this one could be my favourite instrumental. Ooh, it starts fading out. It's a long fade out. Okay, next, Nothing Left. Only 2 more tracks to go.
You used to light up when I called to say I love you. But these days maybe those words don't hit the same.
I mean, it's been like 16 years since Doo-Wops. But his singing voice hasn't really changed at all, like in a good way. Like it just does not sound different. It's still the same.
The fire don't burn like it used
Don't know what that sound was.
Feels like I left to hold on to. I'm looking for the
Okay.
magic, I can't seem to find it in your eyes. The smile on your face that I used to make is long and gone. And it kills me to think somewhere I lost my baby. Oh, we've been together so long.
Great lyrics as well.
Wanna let you go, but you know something's gotta change, gotta change. Feels like I'm reaching out, but nothing left to hold on to.
I went kind of quiet there because I was just sort of listening to what he was saying. Oh, solo. Damn. Wow, I've really added like a lot to it. Again, like there's definitely a pattern so far. Like there's usually always been some sort of like instrumental break later in the second half of the song. Ooh. Wow, that was nice. It took like, I feel like it took a bit to get going. At the start I was like, oh, it's alright, it's kind of subtle, and you know, sort of 8 tracks in I was like, okay, maybe this will sound like sort of the same and it'll be a bit filled in. But then yeah, it really picked up in the second half, and yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. And then the final track with Dance With Me, yeah, and like I said, I went sort of quiet because I was sort of just listening to what he was saying, and it felt like that was the most, because he was sort of like saying that I'm reaching out with nothing left. As in, like, because I'm pretty sure he's had a partner for quite a while. And maybe, like, he still thinks it isn't, like, where it needs to be. Obviously, I'm not too sure fully, but that's what I sort of was getting at. And he's saying, like, I've tried all I can, and, like, I'm reaching out with nothing left. I don't know, I just sort of noticed it more in that track. Maybe I was just paying more attention. But the final one with Dance With Me. So, who knows if this will sound any sort of different, because I don't know, it's been quite a good blend of like, yeah, some upbeat ones, some slower ones, and I've liked both, you know, like one of the most upbeat tracks is one of my favourites, but then one of the slowest is one of my favourites. So I really don't know where he's going to go with this next one. That sort of sounded like the start of Die With A Smile. Okay. That's another thing, it also definitely fits the title of the album in terms of like what he's talking about. And just the overall like vibe, like it is just a romantic sound. And definitely this one. Very like slow dance. That's sort of why he's made this music really, to sort of dance to. You know, some slow, some more fast. It's a good blend, really. Like I said, it's not all Silk Sonic, but it definitely leans a bit more into that. Definitely not so much 24 Karat. Beautiful outro. Definitely the most fitting one out of all the ones we've heard. That sort of like build up, it has been done quite a few times in the album. And who knows, you could say like overall this has been a bit like safe, but not in a bad way, because it definitely works. And he's definitely found that sound. But it would have been cool to hear a bit more, you know, take a bit more risk maybe. I feel like he did that way more with 24 Karat. But like I said, it's not bad. Like this is groovy, you know what I mean? And that's sort of the thing he went for. And it works. I feel like some of the tracks are definitely like sort of backgrounds. You could just play it in the background. Oh, the high note to end off the album. Probably the highest one we've heard. And another great fade out. 20 seconds. Yeah, so I sort of like said my thoughts in the midst of that song. And yeah, I still, stand by that. But it's definitely not bad. Like, it's not even a lot to sort of criticise other than like, he's definitely found his sound. It's not really similar to like anything we've heard in terms of like, other albums. Like I said, it's more of a blend of I suppose 24 Karat, but only a bit of it in terms of like that funky. And it did have a bit more soul sounding on that album. But just obviously way less sort of upbeat synths on this one. And it's way more acoustic, but it's also dancey. So it's like a good blend, really. But it definitely leans into the Silk Sonic sort of sound, but just less jazz. Like, that's what I'm saying, there's not really one that it sounds like. So it's cool how he's done that. But then again, when you're doing this like soul acoustic sort of sound, it's always sort of hard to make it really engaging in terms of every single track. And even though it's only 9, like I said, there's a few tracks on here that I would just say would be like background, play it in the background and it would create a vibe. And there's only a few like standout ones that I would say are like, that I can say like, oh yeah, I want to play that track there, And like in terms of my favourites, like I loved Why You Wanna Fight. That was very like dreamlike. Probably the most out of the whole album. I guess maybe that last song as well. And I did enjoy that outro. And then On My Soul was also great. So yeah, I'm just sort of intrigued to see what people think. It's definitely, to be honest, it's Bruno Mars, so it's going to be big anyway. But for me personally, I don't think it's going to be like, it seems like every single one of his albums has been like 3 like standout tracks that get over like 1 billion streams. And I just can't really pinpoint any that would do that for this one. But I feel like he hasn't really gone for that this time. And it's cool. Like I said, it would have been cool to see a bit more sort of like out there stuff. Obviously, like I said, he's stuck to that sound. And I feel like on his other stuff he's taken, like definitely with 24 Karat, he took a bit more risk, I think. And experimented a bit more. But it definitely fits the vibe, definitely fits the title. And it's definitely a nice groovy listen. And yeah, it's just beautiful. Nothing like, blown away sort of stuff, but I sort of expected that in a way, from what I've heard recently of his. Of course, we haven't heard much because it's not like he's releasing stuff all the time, but in a way you sort of know what you're getting, whereas I feel like with the last solo project, he sort of like pushed the boundaries a bit more, I think. But at this point I don't think he really needs to do that, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed the listen. I might even like do a follow-up sort of thing where I talk about my thoughts. And when I said about like what you're getting, like you're gonna get great vocals. Like I feel like the vocals were definitely a standout on this. But yeah, personally I just wanted like a bit more, just different stuff that stood out really. And I think that's quite fair to say, I think. And I don't know, I feel like already, like I said, it wasn't like I didn't enjoy it, but compared to his other stuff, it's not like I'm gonna be running it back all the time. And like I said, it's not like I'm gonna choose a track and be like, yeah, cue that one up, Not in a bad way, but just because I've sort of like, not forgotten, but it just hasn't left as much as a mark and it hasn't stood out. And that's why it's going to be interesting to see what stuff becomes like major hits, if it does. But yeah, that's all I sort of really have to say. I enjoyed the listen though, for sure. And it's nowhere near like a bad album or even like a mid album. It's just, yeah, nothing crazy, nothing that blew me away, but it's definitely a good listen. Comment down below what you think of this album and what you want me to listen to next. Of course, I know today there's also been the Gorillaz album. There's also been that Chase B album. There's been Concrete Boys as well. We've had quite a lot of stuff today. I don't know why everyone decided to release today. And then next week we also have Harry Styles. So it's been quite a lot so far this year. But I hope you enjoyed it. You can check out my main channel where I do like video game reviews. If you did enjoy this video, then let me know by tapping that like button down below. And you can subscribe to the channel and also the main channel if you'd like that stuff to see more. And that was The Romantic, Bruno Mars. And bye-bye.